All right, welcome to Newsroom Live. You are looking at the camera set up behind me as we take a look at all the live possibilities we have in front of us this Tuesday night. Taking a live look in New York City. We are coming at you from the Fox 5 Broadcast Center here on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Welcome. Thanks for being with us. We've got a lot of stories we're going to dip into over the next hour. Let's go show you one of them right now on live view. This is camera 2. They're in Astoria, Queens right now. They are talking about a bike lane that has been the source of much consternation in that neighborhood. So basically, they started building the bike lane, and then they have been forced to stop work on that bike lane over safety concerns. As you would imagine, this has led to heated conversations within the community. Of course, people for and against the bike lanes. You know, this is an ongoing issue throughout the city as we get more and more bike lanes. Obviously, everyone has an opinion, certainly upping the ante here. The fact that that bike lane is already well under way as far as construction, but they have decided to pull the plug on it as of now. So people will be sharing their comments on that throughout the night. We'll dip into that if we see any activity there. We've also just got some nice holiday shots. Let's look at the 6th Avenue one outside the Fox News headquarters. You see the Christmas trees fully lit up. It is a cool night here in the city. Lots of traffic, lots of red lights. In the upper right side of your corner, you can see the corner of your screen, you can see Radio City Music Hall, of course. They are jam-packed there, getting in all those holiday spectacular shows from now through the holidays. Just 2 weeks until tomorrow is Christmas Eve, by the way, so things are going fast, and it's definitely feeling like the holidays here. Let's whip through some of the day's top stories, including those suppression hearings with Luigi Mangione. Those continue today after we saw Friday's hearing postponed because Mangione himself was sick, so he was unable to attend. That was actually, that was a brief press conference we might dip into. President in Pennsylvania talking affordability. Anyway, here's the Luigi hearings from today. The suppression hearings continue. And today, the star of this was video and the 911 call that led police to that McDonald's where Mangione was arrested, where police searched his backpack. Now, the court heard about the contents of this backpack we're looking at right here, as well as a 3D printed gun, a loaded magazine wrapped in wet underwear, a homemade silencer, and a notebook with writings prosecutors described as a manifesto targeting health insurance industry executives. Of course, Mangione is charged with killing the CEO of United Healthcare. So whether those pieces of evidence make it into the trial or not will play a massive role potentially in the outcome of that trial. These hearings have lasted days. Typically, they only last a day or two. So it's unclear how much longer the suppression hearings will go, but they certainly have been a key warm-up for that trial, which certainly looks to be a highly charged event that will likely take quite some time, and those suppression hearings will continue tomorrow as well. Bruce Blakeman, the Nassau County executive, getting in the race for governor. That was a big move. He has been teasing that for a long time. Of course, we're looking next to him is Elise Stefanik, who has already announced that she is going to be running as well. She is in Congress. Bruce Blakeman, the Nassau County executive. Now, Blakeman is banking on Long Island's political strength and his own decisive local victories to make that primary competitive. Stefanik coming out swinging hard against Blakeman, saying his inability to win statewide races is just one of the things that Republican voters should be wary of. Of course, this sets up a primary between the two, which was something Stefanik certainly wanted to avoid. Many other Republicans did as well, as, of course, as they want to keep their focus solely on Governor Hochul as we gear up for what is expected to be a very heated gubernatorial race here in New York. Like a lot of states, it's considered a blue state, but there are plenty of deep red sections. The race for governor can be very much a toss-up. You know, what happens in upstate New York, very different than the politics here in Manhattan and the 5 boroughs. The Archdiocese of New York announcing today that it is going to establish a $300 million fund to compensate roughly 1,300 survivors of clergy sex abuse using money that they raised via real estate sales, budget cuts, and staff layoffs. Now, the church says it's going to engage a gentleman by the name of Daniel Buckley, the mediator who helped negotiate a record settlement for another archdiocese to try to reach what's known as a global settlement with all the people who have claims against the church. Now, that move, of course, could significantly reduce or even resolve much of the pending litigation. There are a ton of cases out there right now offering victims compensation more quickly and avoiding a lot of the delays that come with going to trial. But some survivors' attorneys say they're skeptical. They argue $300 million likely lowballs the scale of the harm, that offers aren't yet formal and those who reject a settlement may still demand to go to trial, though future settlements of a bankruptcy filing could limit litigation moving forward. And there was a raging fire that took place earlier today on the Upper West Side of Manhattan. Look at that, the flames you can see just shooting out of the top of the building. See debris raining down onto the sidewalk. This was a 4-alarm fire, broke out around 8:20 this morning at a 6-story apartment building at 201 West 107th Street. That's by Columbia University. As you saw, flames quickly engulfed the top floor and roof, causing a partial collapse, mega damage to the top of that building, debris falling down to the street. Another view, spectacular Citizen app video of the flames just coming right out of the top of that building. We're told roughly 140 firefighters and EMS personnel responded. Several people inside the building had to be evacuated. We're told 3 civilians and 1 firefighter are being treated for minor injuries. And of course, the Red Cross is assisting those left homeless. All right, the man accused of shooting Jets cornerback Chris Boyd was arrested in Buffalo, and he is now facing charges of attempted murder, assault, and criminal possession of a weapon after surrendering to authorities. This is him being walked out of the Midtown South precinct. Now, surveillance video and a tip-off helped lead police to him. As we mentioned, he was hiding in Buffalo, according to police, before being arrested. Boyd, who was shot in the abdomen and had a bullet lodged in his lung, has been released from the hospital. He recently visited the Jets facility, and now that arrest in this case paves the way for a potential trial and may substantially advance the criminal case. All right, 7:08 here on Newsroom Live. Let's take a quick break. We'll be right back. Much more straight ahead. All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live, 7/11, Tuesday night. Joining you live from the Fox 5 headquarters, the Upper East Side of Manhattan, taking a look on the city. It is a crisp, cold night. Temperatures in the lower 30s, feels more like the 20s. If you were waiting for winter, we are getting a nice big taste of it heading into the holidays, which honestly, it's all right with me. It's a fun time of year. January, February, March, well, then we can get bored of it. But right now, it's still fresh and new. All right, let's take a live look at some of the things going on around the city. In Pennsylvania right now, oh, did we lose that shot? We had a shot of the president. He's speaking at a casino in Pennsylvania on affordability. Yeah, this is a look in at the location. That event was supposed to start a while ago, but we did just see the president show up. He is at the podium right now. Let's hear what he has to say for a minute here.
You've got a lot of people standing outside tonight. It's freezing. They got here yesterday like at 2 o'clock in the morning or something. I'm worried about them. Would anybody like to give up your place? Let some people come in from the cold. You go out to the cold. I don't think so. I just want to say hello, Pennsylvania, and I'm thrilled to be back in this incredible Commonwealth with so many proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are. So am I. I'm a proud hard worker. I'm a proud patriot, but you're a proud patriot. Thank you very much, everybody. It's a great reception. You know, we're on to expose what happened recently when we took over. You know, it's 10 months. And already we have the largest investment ever made in the history of, not our country, of any country anywhere in the world. Think of that. But let me begin by wishing each and every one of you a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all of that stuff. Remember when I started in 2015, I made my first speech, and I said, we're going to bring back Christmas. Remember, the radical left wanted to get rid of the word Christmas. I said, I don't think that's going to work out. And we did it, and now everybody's saying Merry Christmas again. But just over 1 year ago today, with your help, we saved America. That's what happened. We saved it. In the most important election victory possibly in the history of our country was going down. We were a country that was being scoffed at, laughed at all over the world. We won all 7. Thank you, Charlie. She said, and you saved us. Who are you? Stand up, please. Who said that? I love her. Only in Pennsylvania can this happen. I know this state. By the way, last election, did we kick ass in Pennsylvania? We won. That means we won 3 times.
All right, we are
in a row,
looking live now at an event held by President Trump in Pennsylvania. You heard him reference the cold when he stepped up to the podium, said there were people with big lines. So basically, this is an issue about affordability and the rising prices of things. You can see the messaging there is bigger paychecks, lower prices. You can see the 2 signs on both sides of the podium as looking at all the people with all the colorful garb behind the president as he speaks there tonight. This is clearly an issue that is going to be front and center in the midterm elections. The president trying to get out in front of it after being sort of caught flat-footed by rising prices. You can see they are going on the messaging offensive in that world. So we will continue to keep an eye on that and many other events happening throughout the area tonight as we are here on Newsroom Live, and that is the genius. We can just sort of go check out what we want. All right, we're going to be joined now by a guest. His name's Ken Cooper. He is a New York-based security and use of force expert with decades of law enforcement training. He reached out to us after that video went viral last week of the NYU student, the female student getting attacked by this guy on the street, sort of one of those nightmare scenarios. If you've got a child attending school here, if you live here, you see it and you go, oh boy, I hope that doesn't happen to me. And you know, he has some great tips on how to make sure you're not the victim of this random chaos that unfortunately we do see happen on the streets from time to time. Ken, thanks so much for joining us.
Absolutely. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, so first off, walk us through, we mentioned you have a public safety law enforcement background. What do you do now with that as far as helping keep people safe?
Well, I train a lot of people. I train armed security people. I train civilians in firearms and defensive tactics, a bunch of different types of things. And the best part of the training is actually in the classroom. It's cognitive. It's getting people to be aware. And I think we all have to acknowledge and probably agree that it's an unsafe world. So if we do that and we want to make allowances to protect ourselves, we have to learn about these issues, learn about the tools. I have a bunch of tools to show you if we have time, what you can do. And I'm very happy that our young lady, Amelia, wasn't seriously injured. She could have been. But she's traumatized. I could tell from the interview I saw of her. And she'll be carrying that with her probably the rest of her life. Terrible.
Yeah, no, something certainly no one should ever have to endure just going to class, walking around, living their daily life here in the city. I think you made a pretty important point. And while I am excited to go through some of the things you have behind us to show us, you did mention
Sure.
the biggest tool we have, of course, is right up here and not getting zoned out on our phone. It's so easy just to go act like you're in your living room. You know, you're on the phone, watching YouTube, walking in the subway. You got to have your eyes and ears open. That certainly would seem to be the biggest thing we could all do that's easy enough to take care of.
Steve, you mentioned ears. When you look at the video, what Amelia's wearing is, I don't know if you can see these earmuffs. She's probably playing Carlos Santana or Jimi Hendrix.
We wish.
But
She's too young for that. That's old folks like us can.
I just dated myself, didn't I? Okay, you win. But
Me too.
it's very important. The world, if we realize it's an unsafe place, we want to keep all our senses, eyes, ears, everything, sense of smell, everything open so we can see if there's any incoming. And I mean, I'm a cyclist. I'm a team director of a cycling team. I don't ride with earplugs, or anything else in my ears. I want to listen to the cars. I also have tools with me all the time, so I'm aware of these issues. It's not safe until you get back to a place where you think it is safe, maybe your own home. So one of the issues with Amelia, it was a crime of opportunity, and that means you can't change a violent actor's attitude about hurting you, but you can take away that violent offender's opportunity. And the way you do that is by being smart. Now she's walking by herself. Can you walk with next to somebody who looks okay? You could do that. A family of four, somebody you think is not not a bad person, just so you're not alone, or walk with a bud.
Yeah,
I always tell my
those headphones definitely they stand out to me because they are back. They're popular. The over-the-ear headphones,
yeah.
potentially they're noise canceling, and those really work against you. In so many different ways. If they are noise canceling, you're not aware of what's going on around. But I would think from your perspective, perhaps the most important part is that you're signaling to someone on the streets, oh, that person's probably tuned out. They're an easier target.
Yeah, men or women, but a lot of these people somehow don't pick on people that look like me or you. They pick on women or smaller people, and they've interviewed violent felons in jails, and who do you pick, and what do you look at? You look for the weak person, somebody's elderly, somebody with a cane, somebody's watching their cell phone or texting while they're walking. These types of things. Those are pretty obvious things to correct. And the main thing is the awareness. You don't want to disassociate yourself from where you are. You want to be knowing your environment and never get too fat and happy with where you're walking because
Yeah.
it's an unsafe place.
No,
And
no
you
doubt
see,
about it. I mean, you can see all the other potential victims right behind her too. It's just sort of luck of
yeah.
the draw in that situation. Wrong place, wrong time. But again, you do have to maintain awareness. Now, walk us through. It looks like you've got some pepper spray behind you, some other self-defense
Yeah.
items. What are you typically working with people when it comes to that type of thing?
Well, I've got a bunch of different things, but pepper spray, everybody goes to pepper. Now, pepper spray is legal. You can't buy it unless it's in a FFL, Federal Firearms Licensed Dealer, gun shop, or a pharmacist. That's the only two people allowed to sell it. And if you buy it, you're allowed to have three-quarters of an ounce of it. And I've been covered in pepper spray. And the problem with pepper spray, for instance, Daniel Penny in your subway, in that incident, if pepper spray was used against that offender, the entire subway car would have to be cleared out. Everybody would be affected. That's the problem we have with pepper chemical.
Yeah.
This is an inert unit of Sabre. Very good chemical, very good pepper company. But when if you're spraying people and somebody gets hit that need not be, everybody has a lawyer these days. Don't forget that, including bad guys. So you want something more directional. We have this chemical called Repulse, and it is fantastic. I can't say enough about it. I saw it a couple of years ago at a law enforcement conference. I sprayed my assistant director, who was built like a fire plug, and it instantly incapacitated him. It's ocular. There's no lungs. Pepper spray. There's probably six or so deaths per year with pepper chemical. ACLU did a study. This is totally non-lethal, where pepper spray would be considered less lethal. It's still capable of killing if somebody has a heart condition, asthma, or very elderly, those types of things. This is ocular. It shuts your eyes down, and you can't see. You can still swing, you can still pull a trigger,
Hmm.
but you can't see. And your goal, and according to New York State penal law, your goal is to retreat if you can do so safely, and it helps you get away. And that's the
Right.
goal.
So yeah, with that, with the pepper sprays like that, you want to hit the person and then get the heck away and get help somewhere else, right?
This, yes, and th this thing, I don't know how you can see these things if you can. This
Yeah, it
is a
looks fine. Yeah.
pen. And this is a pen. I have the one I used in San Francisco. I put away because it meant a lot to me. I came against a 250-pound homeless redheaded. I can't use the language I like to use on your show, but a very bad person.
Hmm.
And this is got a carbide tip. It can break windows.
Hmm.
It's got a DNA collector here. It's a great writing pen, and it gives you a little what we call force multiplication if an offender gets that close to you. And that's the problem. You don't want to get them that close to you. It becomes a tactically disadvantageous situation for you.
Yeah.
Distance is survival. But if you do somebody that doesn't get that close, at least it gives you something to fight with. I was a college security director for a short period of time, just 20 years, and I used to teach my female students that anything in your hand can be used as a tool. This is simply a magic marker, but it's the old-fashioned Sharpie, and it's got a very good body. It's
Mm.
hard aluminum, and it can be used for fighting. And if somebody gets hit here, right above the nose, breaks a blood vessel, a lot of blood comes out. It's not permanent damage, but it's very distracting for an offender. And these two magic markers, this is a magic marker. It's good size, can be used for lots of different things, but this one is called a Sharky. And this one is a little bit different because it's got a very sharp point, and it's meant for strikes and for penetration. So there's different tools that people will sell you. A lot of the tools I have here are illegal for civilians to use.
Hmm.
For instance, civilians cannot use impact tools. Now, this little miniature, looks like a baseball bat, is actually used by truckers. It's called the tire checker when they
Hmm.
check their tires. If you're not driving a truck and you have this in your car or you have it with you, it would not be a good idea because you'd be arrested for that. It's a violation of 265 of penal law. This is an asp baton, and it's a portable baton for law enforcement. It cannot be used by civilians. It's a very effective tool, but it can't be used. They give women in this state too. They still give these things called Kubotans, and these are called considered impact tools or well. They have a little chain here you can put your keys on. ASP makes something called a key defender, and it's a Kubotan, and you can actually put your keys here to strike, which I think is ridiculous. But it's also has pepper chemical. And
Hmm.
but the container is not appropriate for New York State, so if you consider it illegal as well. So what is legal? There are chemicals that are legal, like pepper chemical.
Yep.
It is legal to use in New York City if you can get it, and you have to get to a dealer that will sell it to you.
Right. I remember I
And
bought it at the pharmacy around the corner, but they had to take my license, and I think I could only buy two of them. And then I wound up
two,
losing
yeah.
it in TSA. I had it on my keychain. They're like, you can't bring that on the flight. I was like, oh, all right, fair enough.
Well, someday we'll get together and I'm going to give you a little bit of we'll have a little fun together.
Sure.
But the chemical that we like, I wrote a program for religious institutions, synagogues, and churches, and in that program I wrote for them and I did it pro bono. It's a $25,000 program called Peacekeeper. I told them they were not allowed to use pepper chemical. I had a rabbi that said I got everything covered. He bought bear spray. He bought 5 or 6 canisters of bear spray, and the canisters quite large. Like this is a large, it's called a Mark 9 unit of
Hmm.
repulse. We call them crowd pleasers. You spray this in a confined space, everybody's affected.
Yeah.
And a lot of churchgoers are elderly. You can kill them.
Yeah.
No, they could be seriously physically injured. So you got to be very careful with using this type of
No,
product.
it's a fair warning on that front for sure. So as you said, the biggest thing you got to be just aware of where you are. Try to be prepared for anything that the streets can throw at you. Ken, it's been a pleasure talking to you. We will have to take you up on that offer. We'll have you come into the studio. You can give us the full tour of all the different
Lo
options we have to keep us safe.
Love it. I'd love to give you a little taste of repulse, by the way. We had a reporter got hit, and about five seconds later, he was on the camera again, totally fine.
Oh,
It's a
interesting.
very easy decontamination. Takes
Interesting.
about 6 seconds, and you're decontaminated. Pepper spray takes 40 minutes,
Yeah.
so there's a
Wow.
lot of difference there.
Yeah. Maybe I'll
Yeah,
have my co-anchor check that out while I watch. How about that?
yeah, that's fine. And they have burn a gun. You may have heard of burn a gun as well. I have a burn a gun here
Yeah.
just to show it to you. I know you're just pressed for time, but these are quite large, and To be total transparent, I'm an investor with Burn a Gun. I help them try to help them write their manual. I hired another company to do it, and this shoots a pepper ball. But I have a lot of issues for civilians' use of this particular thing. It's very large and it looks like a gun, and it is a gun.
Yeah.
And so these are everything has to be looked at with a clear eye, and you have to find a good instructor, somebody without an agenda that just cares about your safety.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, Ken, where do we find if people are interested in talking more to you?
The best is my email address, which I'll give you. It's ILFE. It's International Association of Law Enforcement Firearms Instructors. It's IALEFI and the number one at earthlink.net.
Great, good
And
deal. All right, Ken Cooper.
that,
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
if anybody that's watching the show wants to use me as a resource, I'm an educator. This doesn't cost them a dime. If they contact your show, including Amelia, if she happens to see the show and she wants to, I'd love to talk to her, and get get some give her some good advice and just see how she's doing. But if they contact the show, you can contact me. You have my permission to give my cell phone out, especially to her.
Okay, very good to know. All right, Ken Cooper, we appreciate it. Thanks so much for joining us.
Yeah, pleasure. Nice talking to you guys.
All right, you as well. All right, interesting stuff there. How to stay safe on the streets. I can see on Live U2 we've got that Astoria Bike Lane meeting. Why don't we dip into that when we come back? We're going to take a quick break, 2-minute break. We'll come right back. We'll see what they're saying up there about that bike lane that they have suspended work on after getting it partially completed. We'll be right back with more news and live in just a minute. All right, we got some royalty-free music here, making it exciting on News and Live. 7:30 Tuesday night. Nice, dark, cold night out. Everybody getting in the Christmas spirit here in New York City. This is the view from our newsroom. Hello, welcome. We appreciate you being with us. Let's take a look at some different live cameras we have up right now, including, we mentioned there was a meeting on a bike lane that's been sort of stopped mid-process in Astoria, Queens. This is the press conference they're holding now. These are people speaking out for the bike lane, I believe. Let's listen in and see what they have to say.
3 years and 2 months is cool.
Plans by adding your name and sharing with friends and family. This community knows how to show up for each other, even in freezing weather, because this really is all connected. If this unfounded ruling isn't overturned in the appellate court, it'll have terrible implications for the city's ability to control its own streets. Would we need a multi-year environmental impact study for every single safety project in a city of 8 million? Who is going to be the one to tell the future grieving families, sorry your child was run over, we needed to make sure the infrastructure that could have saved his life didn't make too many people mad? Let's listen to the experts. Let's listen to the families, the victims and their families, like Julie. Let's build the safety projects. Let's make New York a city that's safe for everyone. Thank you.
Whole street? Our street! Whole street! Our street! Whole street! Our street! Thank you, everyone. Last but not least,
All right, yeah, Story of Queens. You can see people there speaking in favor of a bike lane, which has been halted over concerns. You heard about the environmental impact study. Of course, these bike lanes are always a pitched battle. There's more people with more different ideas on how to use the roads than there is space on the road. So this is a battle we've seen back and forth over the past decade plus for sure. This one happening in Astoria, where the sort of interesting part of that story is this bike lane in process. It's been largely built, and then they just put the kibosh on it. So they're fighting to overturn that and get that bike lane, the dedicated bike lane, put into action again. So as they were saying, so no one else gets hurt or killed by a car, etc. All right, let's dip back into Pennsylvania, where President Trump is speaking. ELC 1, you can see in the upper left corner of our screens there. He's talking affordability in front of a bunch of Trump supporters. Let's see what he has to say.
Wind farms. You know why? Because they're smart. You know what they do have? A lot of coal. They love coal. So that's okay. But we have cleaned, beautiful coal, and we brought it back into vogue. We have nuclear, we have oil and gas, we have sort of everything. We don't approve windmills. We don't approve it, I'm sorry. We don't like things that kill all our birds. And that every time you put one up, only the guy that owns it makes a lot of money. Those guys, what a joke. And they are ugly, you're right, sir. But Democrats
all right, there you have
about
it. President Trump in Pennsylvania.
Like
this is a speech largely focusing on affordability, but we're getting some of the greatest hits there, as you can hear, speaking out against windmills, etc., in front of a crowd of diehard Trump supporters in Pennsylvania tonight. All right, I think Liv Johnson is right next to us. We've been talking about the cold weather. I mean, it's not the coldest weather we've ever seen, but it's definitely colder than it normally is this time of year, a little bit.
Absolutely.
Yeah, 5 or 10 degrees or so. So,
yeah.
Where do we stand as far as, does it warm up a little bit and then gets cold again? Is that what Nick was saying? I forget.
Okay, yes, but when you say warm up, it's like 40s, like
Right,
the
tiny
low
warm up.
40s,
Gotcha,
which is
yeah,
great.
yeah.
We can put our shorts back on and get our flip-flops out. No, it's not even going to be good though tomorrow. So it's a little warmer, but it's also going to rain.
Oh, right, okay. That's our deal with the devil this time of year.
Right,
Yeah.
and then some places like higher elevation areas will get a little bit of some flurries. And then the rest of the week is cold, and it's also really windy Wednesday and Thursday. And then we have another snow chance Friday night.
Okay, there you go. That's it. That's all we need to live. I don't need, you don't need to fill the whole thing for me. I just want a little.
Well, I was like,
weather
wait to see
update.
if we would take. Do we have the 7-day?
I think if this is it.
It's nice to have a visual sometimes.
There we go. Okay, perfect.
Yeah, there we go. Snow to the northwest, and we have a rain chance for the second half of tomorrow.
All right, so that's the warm up. Then we get back cool again.
Thursday is really windy. I mean, so is tomorrow. It's also really windy.
Yeah.
Friday we have a chance of nighttime snow. Saturday,
That'd be pretty, right? Walking around, city,
Yeah.
Friday, holiday lights, the whole thing.
Yeah, but it's always so wishy-washy with if we are actually going to see anything.
Yeah.
And then Sunday, chance of morning snow. And then next week we start off nice and warm, a high of 32, and windy.
December. It is what it is.
Yeah.
All right, we appreciate it. Liv, thanks so much. We'll be right back with more Newsroom Live in just 2 minutes. 7:37 this Tuesday night. You can see plenty of cars still on the roadways getting home from work as we motor towards the holiday season. Just a couple weeks, a couple days till Christmas. Welcome back to Newsroom Live. This is my view as I join you here. Let me get my cowlick taken care of. There we go. All right, we're all set now. And a fascinating story from the world of sports today. Phillip Rivers, Hall of Fame caliber quarterback who retired years ago, 44 years old now. You remember him from his time with, I think he played with San Diego, right? San Diego for a long time. Well, he has just signed, again, at the age of 44 with the Indianapolis Colts to their practice squad as the Colts deal with a series of quarterback injuries this season. Who knows? We may see this guy before the end of the year. We may not, but it will have a lot of implications for him, his Hall of Fame, etc. Let's go to Kendall Green. He's joining us now from Scruffy Duffy's. This is a sports bar in Hell's Kitchen, right, Kendall?
Yeah, for sure. It's a sports bar at Hell's Kitchen. They have a trivia night, and they may have another trivia question to remember coming up now that Phillip Rivers is now getting back into the league. He's 44 years old, signing with the Indianapolis Colts. Again, as you said, we don't know if he's going to play or not, but if he does, he would be one of the oldest players to play the quarterback position. But he's joining the 40-plus club, which includes Aaron Rodgers, who was 42, Joe Flacco, still in the league, 40 years old, and LeBron James, as we know, 40 years old as well. Just balling out on the sport's highest level.
Yeah, no, it is fascinating stuff, and you're right. This is a different route to that. You mentioned a lot of those players who've had incredible longevity. We saw Tom Brady go into his 40s. But here's someone who's coming out of retirement and potentially getting right back in the thick of things after the Colts have been through all these injuries this year. What are the experts saying the odds of us are of actually seeing him take the field in an actual game this year?
Well, with the injuries that the Indianapolis Colts are suffering, it could be this year. Honestly, one of the analysts that we spoke to just a little while ago said that he wouldn't be surprised if he sees him this week or next week due to just how badly injured some of those Indianapolis Colts quarterbacks are. He's one of the only healthy ones in the room, for lack of better terms. So we'll see how that turns out. But we got some fans that we talked to about it, and it's kind of odd to see somebody that hasn't played 5 years in the league coming in. I'm just going to ask some of these fans some questions about it. We've got Phillip Rivers. First of all, what's your name, man?
Keith.
Patrick. Keith and Patrick, we're here at Scruffy Duffy's. They're here for trivia night, and we're going to ask them a little sports trivia. Phillip Rivers, he's playing, 44 years old. Does that surprise you guys as football fans?
A little bit. He's coming out of retirement. I think he was coaching high school football, but I guess he's back.
Yeah, we learned something interesting about his center. His center was like 1 year old when he was born. And that's something, I mean, for you to be taking snaps from someone you could have basically changed their diaper is interesting.
Yeah, I think he's older than his coach, older than his offensive coordinator, but hey, they need him.
Yeah, but when you mention other players like Joe Flacco, Tom Brady, that have had stellar careers even into the late 30s and 40s, I mean, he can stack up and do pretty well.
We'll see. Testaverde comes to mind. Unitas comes to mind. A couple other guys come to mind. Tom Brady had some success at an older age. Steve DeBerg had some success. So, if they can do it, he can do it.
Absolutely. And you're a football fan as well. You're a Jets fan, so you know Aaron Rodgers. He was playing at an elder age when he was playing with you guys. Does this surprise you at all?
Watch out for the Achilles. That's all I got to say.
I don't think Aaron Rodgers' age was his Achilles. It just happens to be.
Happens to the best of them. Nothing you can do, but you do have to worry about that as you get older, right? As you're getting hit by some younger guys, some big guys. You never know what'll happen.
Yeah. So Steve, that age. Appreciate you guys talking with us. So that at age, it could be. Something to kind of worry about, and it's been 5 years, but the question that people were having is how is that going to affect his Hall of Fame bid for the 2026? He's a semifinalist right now. So if he gets active on the roster, he'll have to delay his entry into the Hall of Fame by 5 years. So that would be super surprising. Kind of something he'll have to put up.
No, it is.
Put up in the wings until then.
Right. Yeah. It resets the clock. If he makes it into an actual game, you're right. His Hall of Fame clock goes back and goes 5 years from the last time he played a game. Pretty fascinating stuff. And Kendall, I think it's kind of funny you mentioned that when he was in the league, the center he'd be playing with was in diapers. Who knows? Maybe now Phillip Rivers is going to be the one that needs a diaper when he steps back on that field and goes What am I doing, man? I'm 44 years old. I haven't done this in years. This may have been a bad idea. Who knows? There's going to be some nerves in his.
It's a fast game. It's a faster game than it was 5 years ago, and these guys are going to be coming and trying to take his head off. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, especially when you're in for the other three quarterbacks who've all been hurt, who are 20 years younger than you. It is a fascinating story, Kendall. We appreciate it. We look forward to your story tonight at 10. All right, that was Kendall joining us from Hell's Kitchen, the sports bar. Everyone talking about Phillip Rivers potentially making a comeback to the league years after his retirement at the ripe young age of 44. Fascinating stuff. All right, we'll be right back with more Newsroom Live in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live, taking a live look in Manhattan, the top of the Chrysler Building. Beautiful, as always, with the 59th Street Bridge off in the distance. Nice, cold, crisp night. We're nice and warm here in the Fox 5 newsroom. And we're joined now by Camille Fortunato and her 14-year-old son, Anthony. They are from Brooklyn. And Camille, so you have now become an advocate for what's known as Williams syndrome, which is something your son Anthony has, and this is just one of those chromosomal disorders where there's not a heck of a lot of knowledge about it or how to treat it, correct?
Correct, absolutely.
Yeah, so walk us through the path to finding out exactly what he's been diagnosed with. I know there was sort of confusion when he was born. You couldn't sort of pinpoint what the issue was. Then you found out, and then once you find out what the diagnosis is, you immediately have to move to fundraising and getting better treatments for it.
Exactly. So it was a very tumultuous first 2 years. He was born sick, and we had had a host of different doctors, pneumonia, RSV, blood diffusion, hole in his heart, all these little different medical ailments, and nothing really was adding up until finally when he was 2 years old, I took him to a geneticist who took one look really at him and said, we need to do further testing, but I think it's a rare disorder called Williams syndrome. I had never heard of Williams syndrome. None of the doctors we had already had either have heard of Williams syndrome. And so that really became the moment in time where we needed to shift to figuring this out and getting him the best medical care. So it is a microdeletion of about 28 genes on one arm of chromosome 7. And the hallmark gene that's deleted is elastin. And elastin is the protein in our vessels that keeps them open and malleable and allows the heart to pump freely to the organs. And so in missing 50%, every organ system is compromised in varying degrees. The hallmark issue that really plagues the community is sudden cardiac arrest for reasons we don't quite understand. 12 years ago, I really set out to not only learn about Williams syndrome and study it, but yes, to find him the best medical care. And that was very daunting because it really did not exist, especially within the network of doctors that we had. And that's how our awareness efforts were born. And over the last 12 years, we have really focused on awareness, and specifically as it relates to medical research. We currently have doctors now studying the disease with a hypothesis on what's causing the electrical abnormalities that is causing sudden cardiac arrest. We do have a research study that we just actually purchased over $600,000 worth of cardiac medical equipment for mouse models that are being used to study sudden cardiac arrest for individuals with Williams syndrome. And the goal, which I think with science and technology, is to hopefully use a repurposed molecule to create a therapeutic.
Wow, it's amazing. What an education you have. If I didn't know, I would think I was talking to a doctor right there, a medical researcher. It's amazing all the knowledge you've had over these past 12 years as you're learning about this condition. Anthony, clearly you've got a remarkable mother. It's so nice to see you guys.
I have a remarkable mother. She's so cute. She always takes care of me when I'm sick.
I mean, what more could you ask for? It's amazing. And, how does it make you feel knowing how hard she's working to sort of raise money and awareness for the condition you have?
She's working very hard.
She sure is.
Yeah. You know what, Mom? I think you're cute, Mommy.
And this is just one example. I mean, with the power of social media, really to be able to connect with individuals with Williams syndrome now all over the world.
Yeah, so right. So does he have a sense of community now? You mentioned being able to link up with other people who have Williams syndrome. Is that sort of part of the cure in a way too? Just sort of getting him interacting with other people going through the same situation?
100%. And being able to share this journey with people who are truly walking in the same path as us, and hearing other people's stories and difficulties and tragic loss. It has been such a healing experience, and of course a rewarding experience. I say I started because of my son, but it has just grown into something so much greater that I could have never anticipated.
For people out there watching, what can they do to learn more, to educate themselves, and to contribute to your great work you're doing?
Sure, great. So our Instagram handle is at AF Research Grant, AF Research Grant. That's where we really post about everything that's going on. We do many different types of events all throughout the year. In November 14th, 2026 in Brooklyn at the El Carib, we will host our gala, which is a night of love, a celebration of life in honor of all Williams syndrome warriors who are battling the disease, but as well as in memory of all warriors who have lost their battle far too soon.
Yeah.
And it's a beautiful night. If people would like to join us or learn more, everything is posted on our Instagram.
All right, that sounds great. We will have to check back in with you closer to that big event. It's been lovely talking to you two, seeing the obvious love and rapport that only a mother and her child can have. It's lovely to see. We appreciate all the good work you're doing, and we hope you have a great holiday season. Anthony, Camille, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, our pleasure, Anthony. We'll check back in with you soon, okay?
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Absolutely. It was our pleasure. All right. That was lovely. Nice family there. Great cause. AF Research Grants, she mentioned, was the social media if you're interested in more. And we'll be right back with more Newsroom Live in 2 minutes. All right, he just gave me the cue. Welcome back to Newsroom Live here, 7:54 on a Tuesday night. We appreciate you being with us. And of course, we've been staying on top of all the latest developments when it comes to artificial intelligence. And one of the things we were curious about is like, what are people actually using this for? So we sent Liv Johnson. She went out on the streets of the Upper East Side to ask people exactly how they're using it. Because, you know, it's like some people are fully integrating it into their lives. Other people are sort of at arm's length about they don't really want to let it in. They don't know exactly what the point of it is. There's still all sorts of confusion over exactly how it's going to rule our life, how big of a role it's going to play. Of course, there's billions upon hundreds of billions being invested in this part of the world right now, with some people rightly concerned about how it's going to affect our daily life. But nevertheless, on sort of a more light note, we went out and asked people on the streets today how they're using AI. We got it somewhere. It's coming. It's coming. It's coming, I swear. 3, 2, Oh, we're getting close. Here it is. I see it.
My favorite thing to use AI for is usually planning. It really helps me using my study methods. So oftentimes my teacher assigns quizzes and they give like directions. And what I like to do is I like to put it into the thing and give me practice problems so I can practice problems like that. So I can like, instead of going in blindly and knowing just the information, I can actually like have problems that I already worked on.
Do you use AI?
Not that I know of, but I probably do. I mean, everything they say a lot is based on it, and it's behind everything.
I'm not really against it. It's just that I don't find it really necessary to use it. That's all.
Is there anything about it that concerns you?
Just that it might be like overused.
I have my hair done and go out for dinner. What do I need AI for?
What do you know about AI?
It gives out information.
So
But I have no questions for AI.
Nothing?
That's right. That soundbite continues. She goes, my husband, that's who I ask questions to, not AI. Pays to be married to a smart guy, right? Absolutely great. Funny stuff. I think that sort of snapshot of those interviews we did really captures the whole debate going on about AI right now. Exactly what good is it for? How much should I be using it? How active a participant should I be? That's something we are all coming to terms with during these modern times. So certainly that is a fascinating conversation, one that is just getting started, again, as hundreds of billions continues to get poured into this technology. All right, we'll be right back with more Newsroom Live, and the handover to my colleague Sharon Crowley for 8 o'clock in 2 minutes. All right, welcome back to Newsroom Live. Beautiful shot of the Statue of Liberty as we approach the 8 o'clock hour. Let's get one more element into our proceedings tonight. This is a live meeting at Glen Cove, Long Island, where they are meeting to discuss and talk about a vote to potentially ban smoking marijuana anywhere outside. This has, become one of those big issues as the legalization of pot has moved through the state. Some communities are more accepting of it than others. A lot of people object to sort of being behind someone smoking a joint, walking down the street. This is maybe more of an issue in the suburbs. So in Glen Cove, they are going to vote potentially on a measure that would make it illegal to smoke outside, regardless of where you are. Like in the city right now, currently, you're not allowed to smoke in places like Central Park where cigarette smoking is prohibited, so too is marijuana smoking. This is another version of that, sort of a more expansive view of banning that throughout the town in Glen Cove, Long Island. You can see they're taking pictures and stuff like that. It looks like the meeting's just getting underway. We have Teresa Priolo on that. She'll have much more for us tonight at 10. And my colleague, Sharon Crowley, is here joining us.
Listen, Steve, you can smell marijuana on every corner of Manhattan, and on our way to work, on our way back to work.
Sometimes I get behind someone on my way to work, and I'm like, I hope I don't smell like weed when I show into work. I'm like, I was just behind someone, and then I also, I'm covering my breath. I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to show up to work and be all paranoid from walking behind this guy.
And sometimes I'm looking around like, who's doing that? Who's smoking that? I can barely breathe.
You don't have to look too hard, that's for sure.
All right, and I think our mayor-elect might feel differently than Glen Cove, Long Island. Thanks, Steve.
He copped to going to a legal weed shop.
That's right. That's right. All right. Thanks, Steve. We'll see you soon. We'll see you tonight at 10 on the Fox 5 News. All right. We'll take it back from Long Island right now and welcome you to Newsroom Live. Let's take a live look outside. I'm Sharon Crowley reporting to you from the Upper East Side, but let's look outside tonight. It is a chilly one. If you've been out, you know. Wow. And winter is here and here to stay, I guess, but I'm hoping we're going to find out in a few minutes from Liv Johnson just what we can expect for the rest of the week, because as usual, I'm looking toward Friday. I have a jam-packed news day for you. I'm going to run through some of the headlines with Brian right now. But right now, let's take a live picture of President Trump on ELC1 if we can. You're looking behind the scenes now. President Trump in Pennsylvania tonight. He is pushing. He doesn't like the word affordability, but make no mistake, he is touting his administration's plans for the economy, vowing things are going to turn around and the prices are going to get better on your groceries and your utility bills in 2026, according to them. Why is he in a swing state? Well, you guessed it. The midterm elections coming right up around the corner in November of 2026. And that, of course, means things are tight with such a slim majority in the House. So we're going to be talking all about that. But we have a lot to get to tonight, including we had another day in the courthouse in Lower Manhattan with Luigi Mangione. And Brian, why don't you play that video? This is just released video. We saw for the very first time that first encounter at the McDonald's in Altoona, Pennsylvania. There he is. When police approach him, we were going to listen to it in full shortly, but I'll just show you the video for now. You can see the Altoona police officers going up to Luigi Mangione and asking him for his name. He gives a fake name, and then he gives him a fake driver's license. And they, of course, call it in, and that is what leads to his initial arrest on those charges before all the other ones come down. All this becomes very important because in these pretrial hearings, the defense lawyers are trying to get key pieces of evidence, include what prosecutors say is the murder weapon, dismissed because they say that Mangione was not read his Miranda rights. We have a lot more about that coming up with an attorney. But first, my colleague, Arthur Chien, is working on a very important local news story for the 10 o'clock news. And there he is in the car. Arthur, first of all, before we get to what you're talking about, where are you?
We are right now, we're on Lenox Avenue, going northbound on Lenox Avenue, where we are at West 120th Street. This is very significant because in Manhattan, well, citywide, we got new data today on the most dangerous intersections in the city. And in Manhattan, this one is the most dangerous intersection in Manhattan. And what calculates, how this is calculated is that for intersections where at least 5 people unfortunately have either been killed or seriously hurt, That goes on as a dot on this map, and we'll have that map on our 10 o'clock newscast tonight. Those dots are everywhere. They are in every borough. In fact, the advocates, the street safety advocates that analyzed the data here and put this out, said that they estimate within walking distance of these dots that 3 million New Yorkers live within walking distance of these dots.
Wow.
But certainly, so here in Manhattan, this one is the worst. But again, it's in every borough, including Staten Island. They're not left out. And the best part is that they are touting a solution to this also, Sharon. They're not just complaining about
yeah,
how
we
it's
talked a little bit
unsafe
about it before you left for this story. Talk to people about, especially those who are not living in Manhattan. We've got the bike lanes, we've got the pedestrian sidewalk, and then of course after the bike lane you have where the cars go up and down, and then the curbs and the bus lanes and all of that. So there's so much going on if you don't live here and walk it every day as you and I do. Paint a picture for people and how they want to try to make things safer.
I think the most important part is to begin with the fact that very often we use the term accident, but it's not an accident. These are crashes. Accident implies that nothing could have been done to prevent it. And all the transportation experts out there agree that almost every one of these things that we hear about and that you and I show up to, these scenes where people have been hurt or killed even, every one of them is preventable, and it's preventable through a couple of things, and one of the main things is design. You're right, there's a constant tug of war in terms of how street space is used, right? It's public space. About 20-25% of New Yorkers own cars, or in households that own cars. But when you look at how streets are divvied up, we're going down 125th Street
Yeah,
right
we should
now,
tell our viewers, these are live
2,
pictures.
3,
Pete
4,
Sinanti
5,
driving you as we go
Right.
give you a tour of as you're reporting what's happening.
Right, Pete hooking us up today so that we could show people this, but there are basically 6 lanes of traffic. So what some have said is if 80% of New Yorkers do not own cars, is it right to give 80% of street space to cars, right? Should that split be more equitable? More people have been turning to bikes. The bike system has exploded since the pandemic. It was already getting popular going into COVID, but since COVID, it has gotten even that much more popular. So that requires space. There's been a realization that we have to speed up bus lanes because something that's
Mom
carrying
Donnie
60
ran
to
on that.
75
Fast
people,
free buses, right?
Well, fast and free buses, yes.
How's that going to happen?
But,
we don't know. We're going to find out.
Well, I mean, half the people already aren't paying when they go on buses, so you can make an argument that the city's already halfway there to Mayor-elect Mamdani's vision. But on the urgent side of this, last night, a woman crossing I think it was 53rd Street at Broadway, was struck and killed by a driver. She had the green light. He was making a left-handed turn in a Cadillac SUV, is the information that we have, and he killed her. The information we have is he was not charged, right? Some would say that's a failure to yield. That car should have yielded to the pedestrian, but it didn't. And last week it was in your neighborhood on the Upper East Side, an elderly person was killed, also crossing the street.
I know,
so
you have to keep your head on a swivel, always like looking around.
But you know what? It's not. Right, but it's not entirely on the pedestrian, right? And so what transportation experts have advocated is this initiative that's called universal daylighting. And that means 20 feet before an intersection, that there's nothing that obstructs the view of the driver, where they can see if they're, because right now in the city, people can pop out, and that's where people are getting hurt. But if you give universal daylighting, then the pedestrian can see the car, and pay attention. That means being off their phone too, right? And the driver can see the pedestrians and can slow down. And hopefully the driver's not distracted either.
Yep.
So there is a bill in front of the city council right now. It has the support of 26 city council members. So the majority, it's 51 members on city council. 26 of them has said, we support this. We want to sign this. But Speaker Adrian Adams has refused to put it to a vote. And the reason for that is probably, if one had to ask, we'd like to learn more, but it would take out parking spaces.
And that's a contentious issue. Contentious issue, and it always comes up every time they want to put in another bike lane or something else. Arthur Chan, thank you so much for reporting for us on the move like that. We so appreciate it, and thank your photographer, photojournalist Pete Sinante for giving us the tour.
I'll tell
and
Pete, he'll be very happy.
He will. You're in Harlem right now, or Morningside Heights?
Yes. Yeah, we're going around to the different intersections just to get a look and see what we can find there.
All right. Well, I'm glad at least you're warm. And speaking of the weather, we're going to hear from Liv Johnson in just a minute. But first, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to talk to a criminal defense lawyer who's going to break down all things Luigi Mangione. And we'll find out just how cold it's going to get overnight. I'm Sharon Crowley. Keep it right here. Little holiday theme for you. You are looking at the Christmas tree outside the Fox News channel on 6th Avenue, right diagonal from Radio City Music Hall in Midtown Manhattan, and you are watching Newsroom Live. Welcome back. Brian on keyboards. I'm Sharon Crowley. I'll wave to you back here. We have a lot coming up today. Liv Johnson's going to give us an update on the forecast in just a minute. But first, we're just going to take you around the globe real quick and show you there's a live event happening right now. President Trump in the Poconos. You can see a shot of him there. He is speaking to his supporters. He's on the road in a swing state because 2026 is coming right up. And he is trying to convince voters, after getting some low poll numbers and some disappointing returns in the most recent election, that he has a handle on the economy. He and the vice president promising things are going to turn around for your groceries and utility bills in 2026. We'll wait and see, because Republicans have a pretty slim margin in Congress. And we're going to talk with the provost of Kean University, David Birdsall, about that at the bottom of the hour. So keep it right here. But first, the top story of the day. Before we get to weather, we're going to bring you back to the Luigi Mangione trial, and we're going to show you that video that was just released today. And this time we're going to bring the sound up. You'll be able to hear Luigi talk to those cops in Altoona at the McDonald's 5 days after Brian Thompson, the United Healthcare CEO, was gunned down in Midtown Manhattan, and he is the prime suspect in the case. Play it for us, Brian.
What's your name? Mark. What is it? Mark. Mark? Yes, sir. Mark what? Rosario. Someone called. They thought you were suspicious.
All right. And apparently, according to prosecutors, Luigi Mangione not only provided the false name, but also gave a fake driver's license to police who called it in and arrested him there. Bringing me in right now, criminal defense lawyer Chase Brown joining us live tonight for Newsroom Live. Thank you so much for being with us now. I'm sure you, like so many of us, have been following every step of the Mangione trial. Let's talk about what happened in court today. How significant is this video? And really, what happened in that very first arrest? Break it down by what's the defense saying and what would the prosecutors be saying in terms of what happened when they first saw him.
Absolutely. So this first interaction is extremely important to the entire case because when going through an investigation, which is what they're doing here in their initial interaction, every little step of the way is very important because if something illegal is done at any point, it could end up hurting everything else that's obtained after that. It's fruit of the poisonous tree. So if they unlawfully question him, anything they get as a result of those questions could ultimately be suppressed. So what we have here is the initial interaction. They go up to the defendant, they speak to him, and he hands them the fake ID. And now we start this process of ultimately placing him in arrest, searching his bag and whatnot. And obviously, and as a result of that interaction, they end up searching his bag where they find the murder weapon or alleged murder weapon, which is paramount to the case. So the prosecution needs to show, it's their burden in the hearing, to show that they lawfully obtained that murder weapon through the search, and the defense is going to try and show that it was unlawful, that the procedure done by the police was unlawful, and thus it should be suppressed. Now, that gun being suppressed, that destroys the prosecution's case because then you go to trial with no murder weapon, and the jury's left wondering, well, where's the gun? Where's the gun that allegedly killed this person? And it's detrimental. So it's extremely important for both sides, and it could have a huge effect on the trial down the line.
And what do you make of the fact that he clearly lied to, I don't think that's alleged, he gave a false name and gave a false driver's license. Will that work against him in this trial, or is that insignificant?
No, that absolutely will work against him. I think it clearly gets the police their right to search his bag here, search incident to lawful arrest, because that is a crime in Pennsylvania. So they're allowed to search his bag as a result of that. And I would argue it shows consciousness of guilt. I mean, the police are coming up to him and he's giving a fake name to avoid them identifying who him is. And a prosecutor in their summation at trial is going to say, he knew that it was over. He knew they were there to get him. So he's trying one last time to avoid it, because he obviously ran from the scene. And now he's giving a fake name as one last time to avoid it. So that's a great argument for the prosecution. It's definitely going to be used against him, and it's very significant.
So the murder weapon, alleged murder weapon, and silencer and magazine were found in the bag that was with him at the McDonald's, according to prosecutors. Also in there, what some are describing as a manifesto, where he outlined a to-do list to avoid capture that included plucking his famous eyebrows to change his appearance, to change out of distinctive shoes, to buy a ticket to go west, things like that. That is all evidence that was apparently gained before he was read his rights. How important is all that in as far as the prosecution is concerned?
The biggest thing with the Miranda rights, right, is statements that you're going to obtain from someone. So if they're obtaining evidence that search incident to lawful arrest, whether he's read his Miranda rights or not, doesn't necessarily play in. The magic words for statements is custody and interrogation. So if someone's in custody and they're being interrogated, you have to Mirandize them in order to go forward. Now, evidence obtained that has nothing to do with what he says doesn't necessarily play in. It's not something that I would say is going to be suppressed. But if he were to say, hey, that's my bag, and then they search it as a result of that, that becomes an issue. But if the bag is with them and it's search incident to lawful arrest, it doesn't necessarily mean that that evidence is going to be suppressed.
And what is the prosecution saying? And, we heard the Altoona officers take the stand, and they don't have court tomorrow, but they'll be back in on Thursday, officers and supervisors at the McDonald's who were all there. Is there any argument prosecutors can make that the officers feared for their life? This was a wanted murder fugitive on the run that potentially could be sitting in this McDonald's, and they could have been in jeopardy for their own safety.
Absolutely. And I think police, especially in today's world, they always need to be concerned when they approach someone. And now they have information that this is someone who's alleged to have committed a murder, and then fled from the scene. So absolutely, they would be in fear for their lives. They're going to approach the situation because they don't know anything, right? They're acting on a tip, and now they're coming into a McDonald's, and they don't know the situation. They don't know what's in his bag. They don't know what he could do. So absolutely, there's a great argument for that, and that I think is supported by the amount of police presence there is. I mean, an officer's not going to go in there by themselves to talk to or potentially apprehend a murderer. They're going to have an alleged murderer. They're going to have multiple officers there because of officer safety.
And could that be an argument in their defense as to why they didn't read him the Miranda rights right away? They had to, disarm any threat?
It could. It definitely could. I think that the defense uses that to say that he is in custody because there's so many officers surrounding him. The magic further term for custody is whether he thinks he's free to leave or not. And if you have 5 or 6 officers surrounding you, there is no way you think you're free to leave. I mean, you're surrounded, you can't go anywhere. And if you wanted to go anywhere, they're going to stop you. So I think the defense uses that in their favor. Again, the police, they're doing their initial evaluation of what they have, trying to gather who he is, his identity, and what they need to do next. But I think the defense can use that in their favor, that he's in custody. So, anything he says as a result of that, he's in custody from then until he read his Miranda rights. So anything he says between then and his Miranda rights, that should be suppressed.
Be very interesting. So let's just look ahead before I let you go. What can we expect the rest of this week, and when do you expect the judge to make a ruling on these key high stakes issues?
So I'm assuming the prosecution's going to call more witnesses. I mean, the hearing is twofold, right, or threefold. It's the statements, it's the probable cause for the arrest, it's the seizure of the evidence that they obtained from the backpack, the murder weapon, the gun, the manifesto, etc. So the prosecution has the burden. At trial, they have the burden, and in the hearing, they have the burden. And they have to show that this was all legal. So they're going to put whatever witnesses they need to put on to establish that burden. Now, the judge, in terms of the decision, on something like this, I would expect the judge would take a few days, at least maybe a week or two, to issue a decision. This is a decision I would expect to come in writing, not from the bench, meaning the judge would order all the minutes from the hearing, he would go through it all, and then ultimately issue a written decision. Because this is, a lot's at stake here. Everything's going to get appealed. So you want to have a very clear record. You want to have written decisions. You want everything to be meticulous, careful, and done the right way.
And in terms of actually seating a jury and starting this trial, again, to remind our audience, these are just pretrial suppression hearings. I don't know if I'm being redundant there, but it could be weeks, if not months, before things get going. Is that right?
Absolutely. I would foresee this probably late spring, depending on the schedule and everything. And then, the prosecution has to get these witnesses from Pennsylvania, and they have to gather everything. So I would say late spring at the earliest.
All right. Chase Brown, criminal defense attorney, thank you so much for joining us on Newsroom Live tonight. We appreciate your insight and hope you'll join us again real soon.
Thank you.
All right, sounds good. Well, don't go anywhere. We told you we have a jam-packed show for you, and we're getting ready for the Fox 5 10 o'clock news here on the Fox Local app and the Fox 5 NY YouTube channel. I'm Sharon Crowley, but up next, Liv Johnson has your chilly forecast. She'll tell us what we can expect for the weekend, too. Keep it right here. We'll be back in 2 minutes. holiday-themed music. Maybe you're listening to it in your car as you're driving across the Tappan Zee Bridge, because I refuse to call it the Mario Cuomo Bridge, but some do call it that, including our former governor. Welcome back to Newsroom Live. There's, I see a lovely blonde head here. Liv Johnson is joining us to give us a forecast. Brian's on keyboard. Say hello, Brian. Welcome back, and thank you for being with us. Liv, tell us, I've already been outside. You have your coat on. She's going to show us.
I always keep my coat on for this.
That's right. Well, because you're telling us what we need to be wearing by if you go outside tonight. Are we in single digits yet, or what's it going to be?
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah.
Do we have the current temp? I see the lows for today are in the teens.
Okay. There we go.
That's our 7-day. We might as well just get to it. So tomorrow, you know what? So warm. Look at that. 45 degrees is our high.
Yeah.
No, guys, I'm kidding. It's going to be another chilly day. Also really gusty winds. We are going to have rain the second half of our day. And then for those areas in higher elevations, Sullivan County, Ulster County, etc.
Okay.
We have a chance of that precipitation obviously being in the form of snowfall. So we could see some snow in our northern areas and up in the mountains.
Yeah.
For us, it'll just be wet and gross and cold and windy. Then Thursday, the sun comes back out, but the wind stays. It's going to be really windy that day. Friday, another chance of some nighttime snow. Saturday, we're in the clear. Sunday, a chance of morning snow. Still windy for Sunday and Monday. I mean, really cold start to next week. Just a high of 32 on Monday and a high of 34 on Tuesday. We've been below average for December. It's been brutal.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering when we're really going to start getting blasted with any kind of snowstorms, because that always cripples the travel and makes it difficult to get around.
I mean, usually like February, you know, but I mean, it's been a good warm up so far. Like we've had more snowfall chances in December than we definitely did last December.
Okay, I don't know what that means going forward, but we'll figure it out. All right, you are my snow queen for today. Yes. Thank you for joining us, Liv.
Thank you.
And for the wake up forecast, because we have a lot of kids who watch the show, they want to know what they need to put on to go out to the bus stop tomorrow or the subway if you're living in Manhattan. They need to bundle up a little bit, or just bring an umbrella?
Bundle up. Bring the umbrella for later.
Okay. All right. You heard it here.
Yeah. And we're not, like, maybe you'll get out of school and it's still not raining, but the chance is going to be in the afternoon. So.
Okay. Very good. All right, Liv Johnson, thank you very much. We'll see you soon. Keep it right here, because when we come back, we have an update from the political extraordinary individual. David Birdsell is going to give us his insight on who's going to take the balance of power in Congress. He knows the answer. Keep it here. We'll be back in 2 minutes. He knows. And welcome back to Newsroom Live, 8:30 in the Northeast here on Eastern Standard Time. You're looking at a live shot of the U.S. Capitol tonight. We bring you to Washington, and then we're right back here to New York City. And now we're in Pennsylvania. You are looking at President Donald Trump, and he is talking in a swing state because affordability, though he doesn't like the word and has criticized it, he is talking about the economy, and he is insisting that Republicans are going to be bringing those prices down for everything, including groceries, utility bills, you name it. And he is going out to probably more than just Pennsylvania in the next few months as we get closer and closer to the midterm elections in the fall of 2026. Thanks so much for joining us right now to break it all down, all things political, local and national. David Birdsell, political analyst and provost at Kean University. Thanks for being here, David.
Thanks for having me, Sharon. Great to be here.
So let's just start with President Trump, because he's still talking right now live in, he's in beautiful Mount Airy Lodge. No, he's in the Poconos tonight. So let's talk, why is he there?
He's there to try to amplify his message about affordability in the Trump administration. The difficulty that he's having is that things haven't gotten more affordable. The inflation rate has stayed stubbornly high, a couple of ticks higher than it was when he came into office. And most of the prices that he pledged to bring down have in fact gone up. Now, this is predictable with the tariff regime that he implemented throughout the spring and continues to tinker with as he creates these bilateral relationships with countries around the world. But the bottom line is, when you charge the tariff, you increase the cost of the goods. And at least part of that cost is borne by consumers who are not happy about it. There are other issues on the table, and I mean that quite literally when we look at the price of beef, diseases that affect the American herd on the one hand, but also the cessation of some imports of beef, which drives up the price of the domestic product. So again, the international trade policy of the administration is cutting against the desire to cut costs, and that is clearly beginning to frustrate the president a great deal.
Before we get to the next topic, I want to talk a little bit about the New York governor's race, which is also shaping up among Republicans and Democrats. We just learned today, and Brian will pull this up, Bruce Blakeman, Nassau County executive, has thrown his hat in the ring. He's going to challenge Elise Stefanik in the Republican primary for governor up against Kathy Hochul. We heard him on Good Day this morning. Brian, can we play a little sound from that interview?
I'm running against Kathy Hochul. Elise Stefanik is a bright person, and she's been a good legislator, but I've been a chief executive of a county that's larger than 8 to 10 states. So I have the experience, and I have the record, and a record of achievement. And if I can do in New York State what I did in Nassau County, this will be the most prosperous and safest state in the United States.
Right. Well, we're back here live with David Birdsell. I know, I'm not sure you could hear him, but basically he just made his announcement and says he could be the best man for the job to be governor of New York. And obviously he's taking on, he's a Trump supporter, so is Elise Stefanik. What does that mean for the Republican primary? She's certainly seen as someone that Trump was very favorable toward. How do you see this race shaping out in terms of the Republican side, and will this do anything to hurt the balance of power in Washington, considering that Stefanik is a congresswoman?
Well, this is the race that Elise Stefanik had hoped to sidestep, and that was true of state GOP leadership overall. Both of these candidates are very Trump-identified. Elise Stefanik has been one of his most loyal lieutenants in the House of Representatives. Bruce Blakeman made a point about how close he was to Donald Trump. He was endorsed by Donald Trump in his reelection campaign for county executive in Nassau. And since his election, he's been announcing policies such as the electronic border wall, as he's calling it, between Nassau and Queens, with an idea to catching people who might not be in the country legally, drug dealers and others, other undesirables, his language that he mentioned. Of course, this fence isn't going to work, but it underscores his closeness to the president's policy and his doubling down on the public safety message. So with two candidates who want to be, each of them, more MAGA than the other, it's going to drive both candidates to the right in the primary. And that's red meat for the base. You need that that base in order to win a Republican primary. But then it makes it much, much harder to tack back toward the center in the general election. And you're not going to win a general election in New York if you are identified primarily with Donald Trump, who remains unpopular by and large in the state. Less so than in 2020, but actually not as popular as he was last year in the presidential election. That favorability rating continues to erode. So this is probably good news for the Democrats. However, Kathy Hochul has a primary on her hands as well, with her own lieutenant governor running against her. Right now, that campaign has been pretty quiet, but there's going to be a lot of heat on the GOP side between now and primary election day.
Yeah, and a lot of it aimed at Democrats for sure. And that was going to be my next question about Kathy Hochul. She is, right now far and away ahead, but it's a long way until Election Day. And her relationship both with President Trump and with the next mayor of New York City and his progressive agenda will be very interesting, because she's not signed up for all of the things that Mamdani got elected on.
And that will probably hurt her somewhat among city voters, although they're unlikely to go and darken a mark for the Republican candidate as a result. It will probably help her upstate, where one of the Republican strategies has been to try to tie everybody to Zohran Mamdani. And there are concerns in the center and the right ends of the political spectrum about what an avowed Democratic Socialist mayor may do in New York. We'll see how that moves. And as we saw 2 weeks ago, President Donald Trump himself has embraced Mamdani as potentially a great mayor of the city. So we don't really know how that narrative is going to unfold. But certainly Kathy Hochul now has a wider center lane to occupy, if we assume these two Republican candidates do indeed push people further toward the right. The question is what she does with a progressive challenge on her left. And she might have another centrist challenger. It's possible that Richie Torres, congressman from the Bronx, jumps into this race as well. There's still plenty of time for him to do that. We'll probably know within the next 4 to 6 weeks.
And I wonder if Lawler will jump in on the Republican side.
He said no, but he certainly looks like a man campaigning for governor when he's making public appearances.
And lastly, before I let you go, I did tease the balance of power in Washington. We all know the Republicans have a very slim majority. Talk to us about, what do Democrats need to do to get it back, and what do Republicans need to do to keep it?
Well, one thing Republicans need to do is to stay in office. Now, Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House, got a shot in the arm last week when a Republican candidate in Kentucky running to replace a retiring member of Congress who had left to take a job in private industry. It wasn't as if he got old and stepped out of office, but that kept that seat in Republican hands. So score one for the GOP. But people have to stay in office. That seat was vacant to begin with because somebody just weeks after the election last year decided that he didn't really want that job after all, and there was a better one in the private sector. Elise Stefanik is, even if she keeps her seat, is going to be absent from Washington for critical votes throughout the course of the spring, because of course she's got to be back here campaigning. And there are other members of Congress who have made noises or are reported to have made noises about resigning themselves. There's a tremendous amount of frustration in the chamber as people worry about their ability to project policy, to behave independently as a legislative branch, or, and this is particularly true of the GOP, or are you simply going to march to the tune established by the White House at 1600 Pennsylvania? A lot of people don't like that, and they may in fact lose another couple of people. If they do, then it's possible that the Democrats would be able to take over the majority before the midterms. But the most plausible outcome for the Democrats would be a strong midterm performance, and they only have to pick up net 4 seats in order to regain the lead in the House of Representatives.
All right, we'll be keeping score and watching it closely as the months roll on ahead. David, thank you so much. I so appreciate you joining us this evening, and we'll check back with you again, I'm sure.
Thanks, Sharon. Have a good night.
All right, you too. And before we let you go, let's take another live look at the Poconos in Pennsylvania, where Donald Trump is speaking. Maybe we can raise a little audio there. It's happening right now, a live event for you.
Michael should win. I don't know. It's hard. You beat a two-term governor, but the governor didn't do a good job. But what's happening in North Carolina? 2 of the most vicious murders that anyone's ever seen in Charlotte, and it's all run by the Democrats. What's going on there? The young lady from Ukraine, you saw that one where he
Guy from behind just cut her throat on tape. Can't even watch it. What's going on in North Carolina? You need a Republican running that, and you've got to have a Republican senator elected. If you don't, and Michael Watley's running, he's going to be great. So we have people from North Carolina here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be wasting so many words, you know. It's a Senate race, but you agree with me, I think, Mr. Senator, right? Together, we've achieved more in less than 1 year than most other administrations have achieved in 8 years. And we're restoring law and order to our cities, backing the men and women of law enforcement. I love law enforcement. And standing with the heroes of ICE.
All right, you've been listening to live remarks from President Trump in the Poconos in Pennsylvania tonight, an all-important swing state for the midterms. I'm Sharon Crowley. We have so much more to get to tonight. We are getting ready for our 10 o'clock news on Fox 5. We have a lot of stories to tell you about, and we'll tell you what the funnest cities in the United States are. That's right. And is New York? Did it make the list? Did it make the top 10, the top 5? Who knows? In 2 minutes, we'll be right back. Keep it right here. You're watching Newsroom Live. And welcome back. You're looking at a live picture of New York City tonight. We're so glad you could join us. It's about 8:45 in the evening on a chilly Tuesday night. You're looking at Brian Kay on keyboards. He's waving to you. You should give him a 360. You want to show him the newsroom? All those screens that we're monitoring for you are events that are happening live around New York City and around the country and around the world for some of those screens. And this is a nice slow pan around our newsroom. It may look quiet, but I can tell you things are going crazy around here. That is our executive producer. You can wave, Jeff. Above there you go. There you go. And there's Catherine. Come on, Catherine. There you go. There you go. Wave, wave, wave. There's the heart and soul of our newsroom also. That's our assignment desk. I'm a little distracted because, yes, it is an injury of the job. I got a paper cut from one of my scripts. See, I should have gone just straight digital. I do have a few scripts. Most of it's up here, but not all of it. Listen, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Sharon Crowley reporting to you from the Upper East Side of Manhattan from the Fox 5 newsroom as our team gets ready for the 10 o'clock news tonight. We are looking forward that you joined us now on the Fox Local app and on the Fox 5 NY YouTube channel. And of course, we hope you join us on Channel 5 tonight at 10 o'clock. But now, without further ado, I mean, I think New York City is pretty fun, but how does it rank among cities across the globe, across the country? We're going to find out right now from the personal finance experts at Wallet Hub. Chip Lupo joining me live right now. Did I say your name right?
You got it right, Sharon. Thank you.
Awesome. Chip, thanks for joining us. So
my pleasure.
Tell me what you studied and what you found.
Well, we try to create a comprehensive study when it looks to fun cities. So what we did is that we compared 182 cities, and this includes the 150 most populated U.S. cities.
Okay.
Across three key dimensions: entertainment and recreation, nightlife and parties, and costs. We then rated those 65.
We were doing well on the first two, but I'm a little worried about the third one. Costs, it's pretty expensive here.
Yeah, so you'll see a trend here in a second. But we then evaluated those using 65 relevant metrics, and those range from everything from fitness centers per capita, movie costs, average business hours of breweries, cost of beer, wide range of things to get a comprehensive look at what makes a fun city.
Okay.
And New York, not bad. I know New York is always about number one, but
yes.
New York, 14th overall out of 182 cities. Still very good.
We didn't even crack the top 10.
No, and we're going to find out why here in just a second.
All right,
because
I'm waiting. I can't. There's New York. She doesn't like what she's hearing, but you go ahead, Chip.
New York ranked 5th overall in entertainment and recreation, as you might expect. High numbers in number of attractions. It's a high TripAdvisor rating. Diversity restaurants, of course, baseball, softball diamonds per capita, basketball hoops, tennis courts, all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Ranks, 8th overall in parties and nightlife.
Okay.
There's always a good party in New York, so some good numbers there in terms
That's
of
good. Doing a little better.
Pool halls, beer gardens, presence of music festivals, music venues, dance clubs, all of that. Comedy clubs, number 1 overall in comedy clubs per capita.
So we laugh here in New York. Is that what you mean?
Number 1 over, yeah, pretty much. Prevalence
we like
of
to laugh. That's good.
Comedy. Well, that's good because where the wheels fell off for New York City was in cost. 181 out of 102, which placed only ahead of Yonkers, New York.
Ah,
and they placed 100.
So.
And they placed 180th overall in Fun City, so they were 2 from the bottom. As you might expect, Sharon, restaurant meal costs very high, movie costs, bowling costs, average fitness club fees are high, and of course you've got the cost of living. Hotel rooms are not cheap.
All right. So where's number 1? Where's the funnest place to go?
Las Vegas, Nevada.
Oh, see, I feel this is rigged. Okay, go ahead. Tell me why. It's hot there.
Most of the time, yeah. But Las Vegas, of course, there's always something to do. They're number 1 in entertainment, number 1 in parties and ranks. But the cost, 15th overall in costs, which makes sense if you've ever been to Vegas. And they're kind of shying away from this, though. So it'd be interesting how it affects it in the future, is that you could eat and be entertained for next to cheap. It's all about drawing in the gamblers, so they keep costs pretty low, and it's a fairly low cost of living. Behind Las Vegas is Orlando, Florida, Miami, Florida,
Disney,
Atlanta,
right? Or Universal, something. Yeah.
Disney, Orlando, and Miami, Florida, South Beach, and all that goes along with that. Atlanta at number 4, and then New Orleans, Louisiana at 5.
New Orleans. I actually thought New Orleans would do a little bit better. That's interesting. I've lived in Atlanta. That was also fun, I will say. But but I'm just disappointed that, New York City didn't rank a little higher when it comes to, affordability, but, we'll see.
Well, you'll be more disappointed when you hear the rest of the top 10 is Houston, Texas, San Francisco, Austin, Texas, Portland, Oregon, and Cincinnati, Ohio.
Unbelievable. We're beat out by Cincinnati, Ohio. Can't believe it. All right. Well, that's no fun, but thank you for telling us where we can go to have some fun. It's a short flight to Las Vegas from, LaGuardia or Kennedy. Get you there in a couple of hours, right?
Yeah, well, that's the one good thing of New York. You do have travel options, but for the most part, if you can afford it, New York is still a fun place to be.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll leave it there. Thanks so much, Chip. Come back again soon. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Sheriff. Have a good evening.
All right, you too. Listen, fun or not, we're going to be back in 2 minutes with much more fun here on Newsroom Live, and it doesn't cost you a thing. Keep it right here. Welcome back to Newsroom Live, where you get an inside look as to how we put our stories together, how we put our newscasts together, and how much fun we have while we're at work. That's Brian on keyboards. That was Gabriella helping me out, bringing in the Zoom guests before. I'm Sharon Crowley. I appreciate you joining me this evening. We have a heartwarming story to tell you about. Let me check with our chef, our master chef here, Brian Kay. Brian, is it cooked? It's ready. Okay. Right now, we are going to take you to Paterson, New Jersey, where a very special police officer, animal control officer, is brightening the holiday days of pets in our area. Teresa Priolo found out how. Take a listen.
For the last 53 years, Chief John DeCando has dedicated his life to saving the dogs and cats of Paterson, New Jersey.
If you spell dog backwards, you know what you got. You got God. So we have to take care of them.
Whenever our four-legged friends are in need, DeCando answers the call. And while he might be helping a pet, what he's really doing is helping the people of this city, easing their burdens one box of kibble at a time.
It's nice to put a smile on people's face when they leave here. We have people that come up here that want to drop off their pets because they have no food.
This holiday season, as he has for the last 8 years, he's constructed approximately 500 donation boxes for dogs and cats.
Almost done.
It's as much a Christmas gift as it is a lifeline.
Right now we have, for the dog list, we got 150 for the dogs, and for the cats, we have 92.
The donations come from a number of local businesses who appreciate DeCando's good work because they know when the shelters are clear, it means the city is taking care of its own.
1,000 of smiles. Thousands of smiles, even the pet smiles, yeah. And they come up here with the pets in a little cart. They bring them outside and everyone's happy.
If you'd like to pick up one of these cat or dog boxes, you can do so on Monday at 10 a.m. But remember, you must be a Paterson resident and you have to call beforehand and register. In Paterson, New Jersey, Teresa Priolo, Fox 5 News.
Okay, how nice is that? And of course, I'm sure you heard the same takeaway I did.